King 5 is home to the Pacific Northwest's longest-running full-time investigative unit. The King 5 investigators have spent decades uncovering secrets and holding powerful people accountable.
The roots of our investigative unit run deep. Here are Susanna Frame, Chris Ingalls, and Taylor Mirfendereski.
What is so awesome, I think, about being in our unit is we have the time, the resources to get the job done, and that is often holding people in power to account.
We're after the information that people don't want to tell us about.
And we try. We always give them lots of opportunities.
Even if they don't want to talk to us.
And oftentimes they don't. Hi, Mr. Johnson. I'm Susanna Frame from King TV. We've talked on the phone before.
I'm Chris Ingalls from King 5. Well, we'd like to talk to you about your business.
What about it?
Can you tell us why the public was misled for several months last year? Sometimes you just have to get out there and do it. It's not fun, but we just can't let people off the hook. I think we have some important questions that our viewers deserve to have answered.
Are you rolling back odometers?
No, I'm not. I just like to talk to my lawyers, but I don't know what's going on over here.
Are you familiar with any of these withdrawals at the Macaw Casino?
Where'd you get this? Because this is our files that's missing.
But do you recognize those?
I can't answer this.
Sir? Chris Ingalls from King 5?
No.
Yes, this is you right here? Is that you? There are times we literally have to chase people down to find the truth.
And I've seen you do it.
Sir, you have to explain this to me, sir.
How could you allow this to happen not once, but twice?
I'm Susanna Frame from King TV.
Sorry, any questions?
We're here to talk to you about your timesheets during baseball season.
No, you're not.
The King 5 investigators of today, we stand for truth and accountability, but King 5 started that standard decades ago.
It was a long time ago that they really had a big first. I love this fact. King 5 was the first local television station in America to produce a documentary, and it was called Lost Cargo. It was 1959, King 5's 90-minute documentary. It exposed the poor performance of the Port of Seattle and the lost revenue that meant for taxpayers.
The choice, this or this, is ours to make.
That documentary did change public policy. They convinced voters to pass a $20 million bond issue, a lot of money back then, to improve the waterfront.
You know, there was another groundbreaking King documentary in the 1970s that was nothing like anybody had ever seen on television before.
It's probably the most devastating film ever seen on television.
That's reporter Don McGaffin. He exposed the horror of children's pajamas and nightgowns. Back then they were all cotton and they were extremely flammable.
Can you sit up, sweetheart?
And there she was, 4 years old. She burned from under her chin to her ankles. She was a cinder.
The U.S. Commerce Secretary saw that story and cried. And the federal government passed sleepwear legislation right away. So that story led to the non-flammable sleepwear that your children will wear when they go to bed tonight.
That is so amazing. What a legacy. Back then, they called that unit Public Affairs.
From the investigative team of King 5 News.
The unit you know today, the King 5 investigators, that started in the early 90s. Even though the name changed for our unit, goals are the same. An example of that, waste on the water. We found the Washington State ferry system wasting millions of dollars on perks for ferry workers, while the managers just looked the other way.
And a few years later, we did another series of stories on rampant welfare fraud in the state of Washington. This series was really about how Washington government made it so easy for them to cheat the system at the expense of the truly deserving families that were trying to get through the Great Recession at the time. It really didn't take a lot of work for us to find this guy.
Clearly, it means that we have huge opportunities for improvement.
Some of our investigations do take months or even years to complete. Hanford's a great example.
It sure is. It was more than 4 years of traveling to Eastern Washington, exposing wrongdoing at Hanford, not telling the truth about the safety hazards.
We talk about the legacy of King 5, but we're also looking forward all the time. Like with you, Taylor, you're a multimedia journalist, something new.
All of our stories that we do on air I work on a multimedia component that goes deeper, that adds context. All of us here have had stories that have led to real change. And just this year, we had a new law take effect because of one of my stories, Kimberly Bender's Law.
I appreciate somebody that's willing to go on camera, like as a whistleblower, at great personal risk to tell their story. Those people are my heroes.
It's the people, it's our community that has made King 5 a successful establishment for 75 years.